It is day 24 of my 30 days of decluttering in January challenge. I actually only have one day left of the challenge, so I will have completed 25 of the 30 days, which I am pretty chuffed with. Today I am tackling toiletries, medicines, and then towels and linens because they're all in this one cupboard together. So here is what we are starting with. Not too bad at all because I decluttered and totally reorganized this fairly recently. And you know, sometimes when you reorganize an area and you're like, this will never stay like it because this is my cupboard of doom. Well, you know, we're like a month later and it's still looking pretty good. But I want to see if I can do a bit more and just try and keep on top of all of the areas in the house. So it's my non-working day today and my 2-year-old is having a nap, but I only have about 20 minutes before I need to get her up and start waking her up before we go and collect my boys from school. She takes a good while to like get human again after a nap. Like she's pretty grumpy when she gets up from a nap. So I've set my timer and I'm pulling out a box of, it's mostly toiletries, but it's got mixed up a bit with medicines and like wound dressings. So I want to separate those out again. So I'm partly like putting some stuff out that I want to put in different locations, or stuff that I want to use, stuff I need to wash. Like I'm not just putting stuff out to declutter it. And there is some stuff in here. Like I can see some bits and pieces that go with our baby monitor, which is in our 2-year-old's room. We actually ended up buying 2 of the exact same baby monitor, and it was a Tommy Tippy one that they had stopped making, but I really wanted one that had the pressure mat like breathing sensor. We don't use that now, but in the first, like, I would say the first 6 months, it was particularly useful for me because I am a very anxious person, and having the breathing monitor meant that I could sleep. So I wasn't like waking up and thinking, oh my God, are they okay? Are they breathing? Like if an alarm hadn't sounded, they were fine. And I slept so much better for that when I could sleep because none of my kids have been great sleepers. So it was all the more important that when they slept, I slept. So I really rate this. And I know a lot of people are like not big fans of the breathing sensors. And then we definitely did have occasions where they would go off just because like the baby was sleeping in such a deep sleep with like really, you know, the kind of really deep, like shallow breathing, and the monitor was like, you know, your baby's not breathing, when they were, and they were absolutely fine. Or when they start to roll and then they roll off of the mat, like the pressure mat, and then the alarm would go and like freak you out. But I think when it gets to that point, like when the baby was like rolling around a lot, when the alarm started to go off a lot, that was the point where I was like, right, okay, we need to take the pad away now, like we don't need this now. But yeah, I found it really useful, and we still use the monitor, just not the pressure mat bit. But the like handheld screen bit broke on our first one, so then we bought a whole new set. When I say new set, a second-hand set from eBay, which meant we ended up with like 2 of the mat things, and I've kept them because I figure that I will sell it or gift it on to somebody one day, and then like it doesn't make sense to not have it all together as a set. Like even if I'm gifting it on, even if I'm just giving it away to somebody locally, I'd want it to be complete. And then also might as well just give them everything and then they can have spares, because like, you know, for us it was a wire for the monitor that broke, but what if it's the actual like pressure mat that breaks? And you know, there's no point in getting rid of the second one. So I have things like that in my house basically that are, you know, they're waiting for something to happen, but that's not going to happen for a while. And we do have another monitor which is just like a radio kind of sound monitor that doesn't have the visuals, the screen. And I think at some point for my 2-year-old, like when she gets older and we don't need to actually see her at night, then we might move over to the other monitor. I don't know. But the boys have a monitor still. They are 6 and 4, and we have just the sound monitor. And we have it for a couple of reasons. We've kept it. It's kind of like an intercom, you know? Like they know they can talk to us without having to leave the room. So if they wake up at night and they're scared, or, you know, then they don't want to leave the room, which will be my 6-year-old. Like he would never want to leave the room if he could help it. He doesn't like leaving the room at night. So he would call us for us to come in. My 4-year-old, he'll get up and he'll come and see us if he needs us. So if it was just him, I think I would just get rid of the monitor, because I know like if he needs me, he'll come and get me. But my 6-year-old won't. So we have the monitor, but also they like the lights. It has like a light show that will play at night, and we have that on all night. So we still have a monitor for them as well. But I think we'll get to a point where like it's weird to have the monitor, or it's too, invasive of their privacy, and we will absolutely have to get rid of it. I just don't know when that happens. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, like we never had monitors. We didn't have them at all, right? I don't think I don't know, did they even exist? Yeah. And my mum, as we discovered when I got to being a kind of young teen, we finally discovered that my mum was actually very deaf. And she had been, from childhood, and it kind of all made sense to her once she actually had that, the hearing tests done, and she had hearing aids. So she had hearing aids from a very young age, because she was in her, how old would she have been then? So she would have been in her like late 30s, I guess, when she finally discovered that she was very deaf. But yeah, so she would have been when I was a kid, and maybe that's why we all ended up sleeping pretty well, because we just got used to the fact that she wouldn't hear us and she wouldn't come. Oh, it's terrible looking back on it now, isn't it? But like obviously not purposely, but there we go. So just going through the towels now. We have like 2 sets of towels each for us grown-ups, and then the kids mostly just we have like one main towel, and then we have one spare, I think, for the kids, and then we have a couple of guest towels. So if we need to for the kids, we have other options. But like we have a tumble dryer, so when we're washing the towels, we're usually drying them the same day, and then we can just stick them back in rotation, so we don't need loads of spare towels. Now, what I'm going through now, I need some advice on. These are some little tiles painted tiles that we were gifted from my brother and sister-in-law when our eldest was quite young. And I was just checking like what they actually said and who they were for. Like I knew what they were, but I couldn't remember if they were for just Eddie or if they were for my middle child as well, but they're just for Eddie. So they spell out his name, but also there's another set which have his date of birth. So like the same again in terms of volume, basically, with his date of birth. And they are, they're beautiful little individual tiles. They're lovely design. What do I do with them? I've had them for years now. I think he might have been gifted them for his first birthday or around then. He's nearly 7. And they are in this box, carefully stored, all wrapped up in bubble wrap. What do I do with them? So they need to be set in something or displayed somehow, and I just have no idea. So anyway, here is what we got rid of. A little bit of rubbish on this little E used to be on his bedroom door when it was just him. But here's what things are looking like now. So I got rid of like 3 towels and a bit of rubbish. So not masses. I wasn't expecting to get rid of masses, but I've had a bit of a tidy up as well. So everything is looking really good. And yeah, for 20 minutes spent, I'm feeling really good with that. But advice, please, on that gift. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.